But the real thing you're getting at is, should an elected public official be strung higher than anybody else for the same crime? And I happen to think he should. I think if I commit some malfeasance in office and you commit it as an attorney, that you should be strung less high than I. And the reason for that is I go to the people and I take an affirmative position and ask them, trust me, I'll be honest with you. You don't, it's implicit in what you do, but you don't go out seeking it. And when in fact I violate that confidence after having overtly promised it, I think I'm susceptible to more severe criticism.
An ADOS dude, there was an ADOS dude named Bill something, Bill the Icon.
Bring all the dirty laundry.
So this one is going to go out to all of my people who still believe in the validity of the so-called Black-Brown coalition. Recently, Los Angeles City Council members Nury Martinez, here in this photo, Gil Cedillo, Kevin De Leon, and LA Labor Federation President Ron Herrera were having a conversation discussing redistricting when City Council member Nury Martinez, who was also the president, made some very disparaging racial remarks. So during this conversation, she was caught making some very disparaging comments about another politician. I think his name was Bonin. Well, I'm gonna just let you guys hear it for yourselves.
All the, folks like with Ascoin, he did call me. He wants to have breakfast with me.
What's taking him so long?
I haven't. I just said, hey, we need to talk.
Gil supported him from the.
All right, don't worry, I got you. So you'll start seeing them line up.
He's with the Blacks.
Isaac was the first. All the, folks like with Ascoin, he did call me. He wants to have breakfast with me.
He's with the Blacks. And this is from the Twitter feed of Adam Conover. He says, this is unbelievable. LA City Council President Nury Martinez was recorded calling a fellow council member's 2-year-old black son a little monkey and says she wanted to give him a beat down. She said this about a 2-year-old. And here is the conversation. And it says, Martinez said that Bonin appeared with his son on a float in a Martin Luther King Jr. Day parade that featured a number of politicians. She also said the child was an accessory. De Leon seemed to compare Bonin's handling of the child to when Nury brings her little yard bag or the Louis Vuitton bag. Su negrito, like on the side, Martinez said, using a Spanish diminutive term for a black person that can be considered demeaning. Martinez suggested the child was misbehaving on the float and might have tipped over the float if she and the other women on the float didn't step in to parent his kid. They're raising him like a little white kid, Martinez said. I was like, this kid needs a beat down. Let me take him around the corner and then I'll bring him back. During the section of the conversation, Martinez also refers to Bonin's young son as Ese Changuito, or that little monkey. So this was vitriol that she spewed about a 2-year-old and his adoptive dad and her fellow city council member. Now, subsequently, once this broke and made national news, Martinez announced her resignation on Monday morning, from her post as Los Angeles City Council president following the release on Sunday of recordings of racist remarks that you just heard. But she did not resign her post on the city council. So she still remains on the city council. She asked that she be given a chance to make amends. I'm not sure what shape, form, or fashion those amends might take. But I think her best bet at this point is to just fade to black. No pun intended. She just needs to slink off into the darkness and never really show your face again. Not in a public capacity as far as engaging in politics, which is something to me that involves garnering the public trust. And I think you just lost that. And, you know, you only get one chance in some situations, and I think you blew it. I'm not really seeing a strong push for consequences necessarily. I did see a statement from Karen Bass that was pretty milquetoast, and it didn't call for her to step down. I've seen other politicians calling for her to step down, city council members calling for her to step down. I believe white city council members have been a little more aggressive in calling for her removal from the city council. Just another example of the myth that is the black brown coalition. And you know, they always say Democrats are our friends, and you guys know how I feel. And again, as a registered Democrat, who myself has supported Democrats for a very long time, up until recently, over the last 10 years, I would say, since 2012, the second run of Barack Obama. Again, he got me once. And like George Bush says, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, you can't fool me again. So yeah, you know, my parents before me, my grandparents before me, all pledged allegiance to the Democratic faction of the American political system. And we have reaped not a damn thing. Tangibly speaking, we have been relegated and legislated into a permanent bottom caste. And unless we change our politics, unless we change our approach to engaging this matrix called the American political system, we will continue to be ground into mincemeat and served up as fodder for all those who wish to see our demise. And again, I'll say this, you know, recently, Brother Greg Marcel approached Raphael Warnock with some questions about the reparations agenda. And rather than just give that brother a straightforward answer about whatever his position might be, whether it be for, whether it be against, rather than engage him in a coherent discussion, he ran from the brother. And that's pretty much the story of the Democratic Party. You know, as long as we're shucking, as long as we're jiving, as long as we dancing and getting our booties down to the polls and singing to the Democratic tune, you know, we'll continue to get the pat on the head and nothing more. But as soon as we try to hold them accountable, as soon as we make a demand, or we make our demands in an aggressive way, particularly when it's close to election season, you really get to see the true face of the Democratic Party, that they don't like us, that they have an agenda for us. And if we have an alternate agenda than the one that they have for us, then we'll become an enemy to them. So that's about the size of it. The Democratic Party doesn't want to see the black community progress. It doesn't want to see the black community made whole. And it's time for us to realize that. And with Warnock, again, if they're not willing to speak to us in public, then they definitely won't be willing to speak for us in private. And I'm going to keep saying that. If they will not speak to us in public, then they will not advocate for us in private. And I'll close with that. Hop down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. This is your man online, Bill Money, signing off for Dirty Laundry Media. See you on the other side.